All right, good morning, folks. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone's having a great morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday, although it was insanely choppy in the markets. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm doing well. Yourself? Feeling
Doing.
any better?
Actually, yeah, I do feel a little better. It's starting to hopefully be on its way out. So yeah, feeling a little better. Thanks for asking. All
Good
right,
deal, man.
excellent, guys. So let's get to it here. We have a very light gappers list this morning. So not a lot going on, not a lot of excitement this morning. Let's get to our top place and highlights, and hopefully this thing could develop and give us some more stuff to watch. But then we can also check out some of our regulars, JD, AMD, MU, and see what those guys are up to. And maybe we'll bring down the ATR and see what other stuff is moving that might not have the volume yet. Maybe on some news and stuff like that. Then we'll look at Norm's top four as well: Roku, Facebook, Nvidia, and Apple. See if there's anything fun going on there. So let's take a look at yesterday's watch list. We had Teva as one of the first ones here, and Teva was great. Yesterday was an amazing short. If we look at the 5 here, I want to show you how this played out. Actually, I want to show you the 1 and the 5, because that's usually what most of us are looking at during the trading day. So let's just look in here. Look how amazing this opening range breakdown was. So you have a nice range that was created here. Here's your entry for the pullback, and then just drops down nicely almost for the rest of the morning. So again, this was a beautiful drop. Definitely not expected on Teva to have this amazing drop, but it did amazing here. I took an entry right here for a short, took some out here, and unfortunately when this happened here, I got stopped out. Did not expect this was going to happen here. I mean, this is an amazing move, amazing drop towards the bottom. Here's Momo. Momo was also one, Norm, that you had a hockey error on this one, I remember, in the morning. Norm and
Yeah, I mean, I was I,
mhm.
I I was planning on getting an entry in it. The problem was I moved my keypad closer to me and had my fingers on it, and I took the entry sooner than I anticipated. So I went ahead and held on to it. Generally, my rule on a hockey error is to get out of it the second it happens, but it wasn't that big, and I was planning on taking something anyway at some point. So
Right, right.
I just went ahead and rolled with it.
Yeah, that turned out really nice. And if you guys have not checked it out, check out the few recaps we have. We have 4 recaps from yesterday, I believe. Norm is one of the recaps there, so you can see how he traded the markets yesterday. So again, Momo was a very active, nice opening range here. You can see very small candle. This is a tough opening range, guys. On this, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the 1. So this is a tough opening range here because it's just too extended, right? So you want to be careful. A lot of people, if you get this pullback here, it does pull back nicely. But you want to be very careful on something like this, especially this wick. And not only that, if you were looking at this actual price action, this thing was a bit wild, Norm. I know you was in this trade, so you was really focused
Yeah,
on what the price action was looking like. The fills were
yeah, it
horrible.
was ugly.
The fills were
Yeah,
just, yeah,
yeah, and that was part of the problem with the error I had too. Is the fill was terrible. It was a little bit spready. It was jumping around. I mean, it didn't have it didn't. I mean, it had a higher volume than it usually did, but it wasn't just a ton of liquidity that kept things smooth. And right now, this week, part of what's making this week difficult and choppy is the fact there's very little follow through on a lot of these moves, on most of these moves, especially at the open.
yeah. No, we definitely saw that. Again, if you guys traded this live, you clearly saw. I remember one time I got in long. My red line was here, and I'm expecting a triangle here, and the triangle appears up here. I'm like, what the hell is
Yep.
that? So again, it was just very, very choppy. You had to be very careful. But again, it turned out to be a good move towards the long side if you got a great entry. Then from there, sells down, cannot hold these levels. This was a nice drop here below VWAP. And then from there, just kind of finds a bottom. And Norm, I think you took a second trade here as well. And this one
Yeah,
turned.
right in that range. I saw it holding the 2 minute moving average and then the 20 on the 5 where you're pointing it out. So I went ahead and took a long to ride back toward VWAP to break through.
Yeah, and that was nice. Hits back to this level of 34.86, hits it nicely. And again, just a great stock to trade yesterday. But again, the fills were not all that great. Plan was very active, guys. This was an amazing stock to trade, very active. Here's you have a nice opening range breakup on the body. Here's a great entry for a short. You don't get a lot out of this, right? You only get a couple of cents down. It doesn't run as we would like, but you were able to get out here at the low of the day if you had a great entry at VWAP. Then from there it becomes a little choppy, guys. Heads back up above VWAP again, then right back down. So this was a little bit tough to trade, but if you were patient and you kind of waited for somewhat of a double bottom, not quite, because this one here kind of it gives you the impression that it might be selling off. But once it comes back up and it holds, this could have been a great long towards VWAP and then higher. And again, guys, don't be fooled. These are big moves. If you look at this, we're sitting here around 55.36. This top here is 57. So don't get fooled by the small candle. These are really big moves here. So if you got a great entry here on this double bottom, you could have played out nicely towards the top. AMD, guys, AMD was very choppy at the open. It gets nice later on here in this beautiful trend trade, just following the 9 EMA all the way down. But this open here was just not all that clean. This 5-minute candle, I didn't trust for open range breakup. And it didn't run much after that. But again, it just look at this 1 minute, look at this 5, just kind of sticks around this 30 80 level. It just doesn't really do much. Later on in the day, we talk about how AMD and MU sometimes could be very choppy at the open, and then they go into this beautiful trend trades. And it did just that. Once it loses the VWAP here, you want to keep your eye on it and see if it can get above the VWAP again. When it comes in retest, this is where your signal for an entry is. Right now, I usually do not take these trades, but I see a lot of people, once it comes in the retest, they get into this entry here and they write down the 9 EMA all the way down to these levels. So again, that turned out pretty nice for AMD. Here we have J&J. J&J was actually surprisingly strong. I think the market was selling down at this time a little bit, and J&J was just does a beautiful engulfing crack. Here's the red candle, the opening. The next one just comes up and just completely engulfs the previous candle. This right here is usually a very strong signal, guys, for a reversal. Right at the open. So engulfs the previous candles, buyers take control, makes a new high of the day. You get a nice pullback here. Obviously you're going to lose some momentum because you got a moving average right in this area, and then just retests this moving average and then takes off. So this was a beautiful entry. I know a lot of you guys took this long yesterday. So again, great entry, great call on this one. And again, when you talk about this, and also Andrew brings this up, don't be fooled on these pullbacks here, guys. A lot of these stocks are very strong and they have several green candles. They're not ready to reverse just yet. Don't be fooled that this is going to reverse back to VWAP. You usually get a little pause, need a break, catch their breath, and you can see here breaks the high of the day, heads higher. Now here, this is an amazing, beautiful double top, guys. Two things: you're at a level that we had before, 132.33. That's an actual daily level we had in our pre-market show yesterday, and you can see how it tests this thing twice. And then once you make a new 5-minute low, this becomes a beautiful double top short towards VWAP. So that is what you're looking for. You're not looking for the first red candle to go short here. So be very careful with that. But again, J&J was very good towards the long side and then towards the bottom, towards VWAP after the mid-morning. Here's Roku. Roku wasn't as clean as it has been the last couple of days. Opened up pretty nasty. I thought it was going to be very strong. Didn't really get going here. And then just pure chop in this area. Again, just not really anything exciting. You get an engulfing pattern here. It looks like it's going to sell off. But again, just kind of becomes really choppy. Way later on around noonish, you can see how it loses VWAP here nicely and then it drops. But again, it's above VWAP, so that's very difficult to anticipate that move. I want to see that happen below VWAP when it's testing VWAP and constantly hitting it. Cannot get above VWAP and then expect it to lose it and head towards the bottom. But when it's sitting on the top like this, is above VWAP, it's very difficult to take that trade. And then we have our low flow stocks. I actually did not watch the price action on this one, guys. I took them off my list, but these two were very active. RKDA looks like it just kind of sold off, didn't really give you much action here. Not sure what it did later on in the day. Yeah, doesn't look like it did much. NETE, this one took off nicely here. Again, we had a nice opening range, and then you can see here how it just popped up all the way up to 6. So again, these are low flows, guys, so be very careful. Hopefully if you did trade this, you came out all right, and was able to make some profit out of that. Norm, what do we have going on in the SPY for today, and the little bit of the week we have left, also going into a holiday weekend as well?
Yeah, it's like you just mentioned, it's a holiday weekend. Markets are closed on Monday. There's a bunch of people that'll be, taking off early. Volume's been light this week, which has exaggerated some of these moves, made things a little choppier than normal. Earnings season winding down, essentially over with. There's just a few companies here and there reporting. The majority of them are things you've never heard of before, but there's a few bigger companies sprinkled in there. like Autodesk, Tiffany's, things like that reporting right now. But other than that, SPY was somewhat a little tiny bit green this morning. Now it's red by 0.25%. Not much going on there. There is no economic data that I see coming out today. I just kind of anticipate more of the same that we've had the last couple of days, and probably a little bit slower and quieter as we go into go toward the weekend. The one thing that could make a difference there is the bond yield inversions of the shorter time frames being over some of the longer time frames, the 210 that we've discussed and everything else. So the inversion, the size of the inversion in those yields is growing, and many think of that as an indicator of a recession. So there are arguments on both sides. I've heard economists say that it's different this time, even though it's been essentially 100% accurate in the past. Saying it's different this time because bond yields around the world are very low and or negative, so it's forcing money to come here and forcing our yields down. But other than that, not much. Yesterday trading was difficult. There was little follow through, like I discussed. I'm planning either, if I take any trades at the open, they'll probably be minuscule size. That's kind of what I did yesterday. Things smoothed out. Middle of the day trading was a lot better yesterday and the day before, really, than it was at the open. So probably see if we get the same kind of deal going on today.
Excellent. Yeah, so we'll definitely see what happens there. Let's get into what we have in our gappers list, which is not much at the moment. Let's start over with TGE. So TGE here is up 36%, guys. So that is nice. 294,000 shares traded. This kind of stock is this? The daily looks a little weird. It's an energy stock. All right, so it's an energy company. Again, it's been dropping here basically for the most part. Today they're gapping up. It looks like a buyout, guys, and the reason why, because it looks very flat here. It is okay. So when you see this type of action where it's just flat at one price, gapping up with some decent volume, and no activity here, that's usually a buyout. So a buyout this morning on this one, Norm, TGE.
Yep, they're gonna go private, it looks like.
All right, so not really tradable, guys. This might just hang out at that price and not really give you a lot of activity. Next, we have ADSK. So this one is down 11%. 123,000 shares traded. Now, this one does not look like a buyout because we do have some kind of ranges in price action here. Pre-market activity right now looks horrible, guys. Does not look great. Very, very choppy. But I guess on a day like today, we can be very picky. There's not a lot here to get into.
They were, yeah, no kidding. They reported earnings last night. They actually beat earnings and their earnings and revenues, but their forward guidance was pretty concerning. And I've traded this one in the past. It can be very difficult to trade. Look at the spread; it's just under 30 cents right now, essentially. 29 cents, because I'm not going to count that 132.55. It's got less than 100 shares at the bid, so. I've seen it even wider than that this morning. So just keep an eye on that if you were to decide to trade it.
Yeah. So right now we're again down quite a bit, guys. So this could be a good one to watch. We do have some volume on here. 126,000 shares traded, but again, not the best pre-market activity. But hopefully that can get better as we get closer to that 9:15, 9:30ish time frame. TIF. TIF. I did see TIF somewhere. I'm gonna look at TIF now because I know they were.
It'll be on our gappers here pretty soon. It's just 3,000 short of the volume needed.
Oh, there we go. So it'll be here in any second, guys. We'll look at it now. Yeah. So TIF. What's the news on this one, Norm? This one is having some activity this morning. Anything going on with them?
Yeah, they reported earnings, and their same-store sales were down a few percent. So. There's some articles. There's one I saw on CNBC that they're talking about the high-end segment is starting to pull back spending, and possibly forecasting a recession as well. So that's part of what is going on here.
All right, excellent. So what I like about TIF, you can see that you have this area of consolidation up and down between What looks like 85-ish, around 81. So if we can break out of this, could be a nice short towards the bottom, guys. So again, not trying to have a bias on this, but we do have a really nice range here that has been support over the last couple of days here and here. If we could break out of that, this could be a good one to ride towards the downside. So definitely TIF is in play. We'll get into some levels after we do announcements and later in the morning, and we'll see what else pops up here into our gapper scanners. Let's get into the NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. NAKD, we know it's a penny stock. TVIX is a volatility index, which should be pretty flat for the most part. Yeah. It's actually up a bit because the SPY's down a bit, but not by much. NASDAQ ETFs, the QQQ, so you can see here is down a bit. Next we have NTEC. What's going on with NTEC? Also a penny stock, not really anything fun there. AMD might be one that we might want to watch today because we know they're going to get the volume. Hopefully they can give us that nice trend trade they did yesterday. So AMD, also the daily looks interesting. It's kind of caught between this chop here. You do have an area of support heading down towards that area, so hopefully we can get something out of that. Here we have a NASDAQ ETF and SNGX, also a penny stock. It's got some volume, popped up to 175 here, now back down to 119. So be very careful with that type of style of trading. SESN, guys, another penny stock, also not doing much. Roku here, we have Roku on our list. Again, just continues to just grind higher every single day, it looks like. I mean, you have these beautiful pullbacks, but somehow finds a way to crack the high of the day between every 2 weeks, looks like. Every 2 weeks, this thing is cracking a new high of the day. So we are high of the day, I'm sorry, not high of the day, all-time high, excuse me. So all-time high was set yesterday here. Today, not doing much. It does have some volume. Might be worth watching Roku today. Might be worth taking a look at Roku.
Roku was, yeah, I'll definitely have my eye on Roku. It was great yesterday. You just really have to mind share size with it because it whips around a good amount.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. NASDAQ gainers, guys, DAKT, no volume, no activity. SNGX, we looked at already. INMB, no volume. OBLN, nothing going on. MARA, nothing happening here, more of a penny stock as well. We have SYNH, no volume. JAGX, no volume. WTER also seems to have nothing going on. ADAP, also no volume, only 2,000 shares. And last one on this list, TANH, also no activity going on. So Norm, what do you like on your top four? We have Roku. Roku looks good. Had a great day yesterday, cracking the all-time highs, setting that new one there. What else do you like on your list today?
Is nothing an answer I can use. Nvidia sold off really hard yesterday, and it has come back down to its 50 moving average. And it's sitting just above it. So it's trapped on the top side of that. It broke below its 920 and 200 yesterday, and now it's sitting below its 50, I believe. So should be, I'm going to see if that gives it any support. We know this thing can trade wildly. In the last, since December, it's been as low as 125, 128, I think. In the last 12 months, NVIDIA's been from like 290 to 125-ish, back up to 190, and then back down to 125, and then 175 just a week ago. So a little crazy. I'm going to see what happens with it here. Other than that, I'm not seeing a whole lot. I mean, Roku we've already discussed. I see a couple of things that are up, but it's on low volume, so that's about it.
Gotcha. All right, guys, let's see what you guys have going on. So we have Roku. We looked at TGE. Daniel, I think TGE is actually not a rumor of a buyout. I think that's an actual buyout the way it's trading right now. Looks pretty much confirmed. Correct me if I'm wrong. Next, we have LCI. What's going on with LCI?
I am watching LCI.
LCI, 961,000 shares traded here. Up 42%. Wow, that's quite a bit here. We do have some nice levels. What's the float on this one? LCI. Ah, 34 million shares float. So it's not a low float, but you do want to be careful with your share size. So I'm still going to put it down here. It's tradable. It's not a low float, but you want to be careful with the number of shares you take. It is a lower price, and you can move wildly here. Actually, it looks like we might be heading up to this nine level we have here before in the past. Has a good pre-market activity, some insane volume, guys. 970,000 shares traded. So that's very nice this morning. Very, very active. Probably the best pre-market action we've seen so far with volume. What do we have next? PSTV. PSTV. So PSTV is down 5%. Not much activity happening at the moment. But again, we're gonna have a lot of stocks like this that have an interesting daily. You can see here this thing has found resistance twice around this area and sold down. So today, this can repeat itself. It can sell back down again. But again, just not a lot of activity on here for PSET. So we'll see. We'll see. It can go either way, Jared. I agree with you. There's gotta be very careful with this one. It can trade either way. Next, what do we have? All right, so LCI we looked at, guys. MU broke below the 50. Let's look at MU here. Yeah, see, MU is kind of like Nvidia, right? It's hitting those levels here, and we do have an area that we have tested before in the past around 41. So the daily looks also very interesting, one you can keep on your list. So out of the AMDs, Roku's, Nvidia, and MU, right? Out of these, you could probably pick the best ones to watch these today. They don't have great volume just yet, except for AMD, which always has some volume. But Roku, you can see, actually Roku is looking okay. Nvidia doesn't have much, and neither does MU. But these are good ones to watch. I do like the way it broke this 50 on here as well, SAC. So yeah, that's interesting. What do we have? Cody, COTY. So COTY, another one also with no volume. Has a nice bounce here. But this stock we traded in the past, guys. Be very careful. It doesn't trade very well. So be careful in trading this stock. I do see some good days here, some good drops. Looks like it has been moving quite a bit. But just be careful on this one here. What do we have? Facebook. Facebook. What's going on with Facebook? Yeah, guys, not much activity with Facebook neither. And actually, out of all of these, I probably like Nvidia's daily more than all of them. I mean, this thing looks like it's ready to lose. If it can lose this here, we got some great levels we can hit here. So that could be nice. So out of the top four that we usually look at, Norm's top four, Facebook probably doesn't look as great right now. Anything can happen, but I think this is just going to be moving with the markets for the most part. And with the volume dropping, with the holiday weekend coming up, you might not get anything great right off the bat, right off the open. Later on, as it develops, you might be able to get some moves out of this. MOV right now, guys, not much activity going on. I do like the drop 16% here, but again, just really no volume. So nobody's looking at this, at least right now. Could be a good one to tune into later on or wait for it to hit the scanners. But at the moment, this volume is just scary, guys. Just nothing happening here right now. We need that volume. We need stuff to move one way or the other. And right now, it doesn't look like it's gonna head in any possible direction. Gold should be pretty flat, depending on how the markets do. This one is one that I don't really put on my. I put golf. I don't want to go golf. I want to gold. There we go. So
it's probably better to play golf than trade today.
I agree 100%. So this one here, guys, again, it depends on what the market does and the news that comes out. I really don't watch this on my main watch list, even when it's active and it has volume. Brian is great at trading this. He does a lot of swing trades on this one, or Nugget. But again, this is not one that I actually put on my list. Norm, have you traded gold before? Have you actually taken any trades on it, or?
No. I mean, and this is a gold. This is an individual company, not an ETF either. This is Barrick Gold, which it just doesn't trade well. It doesn't move much. It moves with the price of the underlying commodity a lot of times. So I don't mess with gold.
Yeah, I think if you want to do that, I think Nugget might be a better one to watch. This one moves a little more. I know Brian trades this one quite often. Next, we have DPW. So DPW. Wow, we got some volume.
Trash.
Yeah, we got some volume. 1 million shares traded. But this one, guys, we looked at this before in the past. Be very, very careful. It doesn't trade well. I guarantee you, I will bet that this thing drops right back down. Because it does this all the time. It'll pop up, it'll open up, it'll give you some fake out, and then it'll come right back down to its level. Look, every time it gets up, for the most part, on every gap up that you have, right, you see on the red days, it usually sells down. So I almost can bet on you this thing is gonna sell right back down to that $3 mark. So just be careful with this stuff. It trades nasty. It's not clean. Don't be fooled by this volume. This volume does not give you any kind of clean up pre-market activity. Unlike LCI, this is some good pre-market volume here. This is the type of stuff you want to be looking at. All right, what else? So TGE received an offer. Okay,
Well, and
cool.
DPW's float's only about 1 million shares, by the way. So
Yeah, that is extremely dangerous. You
that's
want to be careful with that. All right, and let's do one more here. VEEV. Wow, this has a very nasty, choppy daily chart. I don't blame the actual stock. Again, the market has been so choppy, so it could be the cost of some of this. But this is really nasty here. It looks like it's trying to break out though, so I do see what you're looking at, and it looks interesting. You do have the high from yesterday that it made here. It can possibly break out of this, but just the volume is not here just at the moment. But again, I can see what you're looking at. You got some levels you can possibly go for that 170 area. Looks nice. If you can break out this 167 with some volume, it's going to need a lot of power to make this happen today. Just not seeing that with the volume at the moment, but definitely one you want to check out later in the mid morning, later in the day to see, what kind of activity you're getting out of it. All right, excellent, guys. So this is what we have so far. Let's get over to some announcements, and then we will jump into finding support and resistance. And then based on what we have, we can look at some more. You guys have a lot today that you're sending out that look pretty interesting. What do we have going on, Norm?
Yeah, so all you guys know, we have the Dr. Brett Steenbarger interview out on YouTube. Just a heads up, we are going to have another extremely big name interview coming next week. So stay tuned for that. DAS is doing their #1 best trader competition. This is their second time around. We are a sponsor of that. There's some cool prizes. Trip to New York with, going to check out the NASDAQ and dinner and such. So the site for that is onebesttrader.com. And if you use the promo code BBTFull15, you can get $15 off. Currently, the entry price is $75. So that makes it $60 if you use BBTFull15. Next Monday, I believe, is the last day to register for it. It's the same day, Tuesday. It's the same day the competition starts. It runs for the month of September. We had a great showing out of BBT for the first time around. So I hope you guys, especially if you're trading in Sim and you want to do it, it's a great price to take advantage of Sim. Carlos, can you throw that back up there? Thank you. We've been honored to be nominated for the Benzinga FinTech Awards under the Best Financial Literacy Tool. You can vote for that one time per device per day. If you enjoy our content, being part of the room and such, we'd be humbled to have your vote there. It takes about 2 seconds. We've got 2 meetups coming up. Bay Area meetup, I believe it's in Oakland, September 7th. And then New York City on September 21st, we're going to have Dr. Brett Steenbarger in person. He's going to have a bit of a discussion and then drinks with him. So you have to get a ticket for this. And it's free, but we've got to have a head count, and we might have to limit the number with the interest extremely high. So there's a link in the alerts that you can take to register for that event. Like I said, it's free, but we just have to get a head count. And then if you're watching us on YouTube and you have not been a part of the room, you'd like to come in and watch us trade live, see different mods. Usually it's Andrew at the open, then Brian, myself, Peter, Eamon, Thor's getting into the mix a little bit, Kurt, all of us. Yesterday we had William trading the pre-market. So, or not the pre-market, William trading the open with me, with Andrew out. So, you can use that pre-market 24, try out the room for a week. It doesn't auto-renew, and get a discount on that intro. And then just a couple of things. We've got Workshop Wednesday today in the classroom at noon Eastern. It's going to be Thor and Eamon. I believe they're going to be talking about some of Thor's midday kind of trading strategies. And 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, William will be doing his trade review we've put it at that time for people that have to work all day and are stuck in an office and can't do the usual 3 p.m. trade review. So that is it. Carlos, I believe you may have classes tonight too, right? Or this week?
Yes, we do actually, and we do have part of class 4 tonight. I couldn't finish it yesterday because my voice gave out. So thank you guys for being patient. Those that were in that class, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to finish class 4 tonight, and then tomorrow we're doing class 5 at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So tune in for that. So we'd have those classes, finishing up a full week of classes this week. All right, excellent. So let's get to it, guys, to see what we have going on here. Let's look at this list. So TGE, guys, is definitely a buy. I'm going to take this one out of my list. ADSK, this one here is interesting. Let's find some levels for this one. So high of our pre-market sitting at a 133, 134, basically 133.66. We can mark that down. And the low of the pre-market sitting right around 131.60. So we'll put that on there as well. Pre-market activity, guys, is looking, again, a little choppy, but I do like the fact that you do have some ranges on here. Hopefully this thing can get going with some volume. It has 172,000 shares traded right now. It looks like it's going to drop back down and test this low of the pre-market one more time. If we can break out of this range, we tested it towards the bottom. Looks like here, and then we made a new high here, 133.66. If we can hopefully break out of this range that we have towards the top, the next level is pretty high up. It's a 141. I want to find something in between here. That's a long way to go to start closing that gap if we start heading in that direction. So let's go over to the end of the year. Last year, we do have some levels right in here. Look at that 141.12, guys. How if you draw a line, and that's the high of the pre-market now. I'm sorry, that's the level from above the high of the pre-market. If you draw a line there, you can see how that level 141.12 has been prior resistance and support in the past. If you look at the 133.66, which is your high of your pre-market, you can also see how that has been support and resistance in the past as well. So right in here, I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to draw a blue line first so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to draw a line right in here. And the reason why I like this level here is you got several days, using that as heavy resistance. They cannot break out of that. They tested several times before they break out. Come back and retest, guys. How many times we've seen this, and then it takes off, right? So plenty of times we've seen that. So I like this area here. I'm going to mark down. This is around 137.36. I'm going to mark that there. Towards the bottom, we have obviously the 133.66, which is your high. Then you have the 131.56, which is your low. Just want to show you again, guys, how this low is reacting to the past information, right, to the history of this stock. So if you look on here, that 131.56, you can see also how you have several days using it as support and resistance. Again, another example, breaks out of this 132, comes back, retest, and then you have the takeoff. So another level towards the bottom, in case we break out of that low, you have a very nice one here sitting around 127.97, and obviously you got some extremes here that are worth marking down as well, 120, and right in between here you have this 123.06. So plenty of levels on this one. We got to break out of this range. We're stuck at that can definitely get us going up or down, so hopefully we can get that this morning. But the volume looks good right now. A bit choppy on the pre-market activity, but overall definitely one to watch today. Here Tiffany, again now starting to get some good volume. Didn't have a lot before. Now we're at 186. Nice level down here, guys. If we could break out of that, very close to the pre-market low, 179.55 is the last area of support that we have a bounce from. So definitely mark that down. If we can lose that low, let's see what's the next possible level we have. Around the same area too, going back to December when this market was dropping quite a bit. If we go in here, we do have a nice reversal happening off this 73.27. Another area of support and resistance around here on 76.85. So those are some very two good levels to keep in your chart. Look how this low is being probably going to break the low now at that 179.40. I'm sorry, 79.40. You can see how that line also has had prior support as well in the past. So that's good for Tiffany towards the bottom. Towards the top, guys, I think you have plenty. Don't really need to add anymore. Oops, is that? Oh, yeah, there's the line. Okay, the line is right there, guys. I'm like, where did my line go? But it's there. It's just the price actually sitting right on it. So towards the top, you got plenty, guys. The low from 2 days ago right on here, you can see how that has been some big support before we lost it today on some earnings. Then we have the previous day close and some moving averages towards the top, but this is looking very weak today. I'm a little short bias on it for sure. So here we have AMD. AMD's not doing much, guys. Kind of stuck within these ranges. I don't expect much out of it today. Might not even make my final list. So again, just kind of stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. You got the previous day close in there. If we can break out of this towards the bottom, not really a lot of clean levels, but I'm going to mark down this one here because you do have 29.15 as a possible support. And towards the top, if it can get through all these levels, which I highly doubt today is going to have the volume and the power to do that, 31.84 could be definitely an area if it can break out of all of this heavy resistance it had towards the top. Don't think that's going to happen. Here we have Roku, guys. Roku has just been amazing. Every time you think it's just going to kind of settle in and consolidate, it just makes a new all-time high. Right now, you have plenty of levels towards the bottom. I don't think you need to add any more. You have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, and you have this beautiful moving average, which has kind of been guiding this stock. Once it got away from it, came back, found support, and it's just kind of been riding it nicely. And then towards the top, you got your previous day close and your all-time high. And above your all-time high, obviously, there's no other levels up there. So you play the price action, play the candlesticks, and the history you're getting based on how the open happens. NVIDIA, guys, this actually it doesn't have great volume, but I do like the way this daily chart looks, guys. If it can break, like Norm was mentioning, if it can break out of all this support that it's sitting on right now, you got some very clean areas that we can head towards that we have tested in the past. So you have this one here at 158.29 based on this day here. Here it gets a little choppy down in this area, but you do have 55.64 and clearly this one here as well, 52.99. So plenty of good levels towards the bottom. Towards the top, you have just so many. I'm not going to even add any more. Previous day close. You got all these moving averages right on there. We're sitting right on the 50 right now, I believe. Sorry, the 200. We're sitting right on the 200 on the price action. Then you have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days all the way up here. So again, not crazy activity. This will be one that, again, if it can get going towards the bottom, it could turn out really nice. LCI, this one is very active, guys, and it's actually not a low flow stock. It's 34 million shares flow. It's got some sick volume, 1.3 million shares traded so far. Your high of your pre-market is 175. Your low is 768. So we have a top up here that we have tested before at 896, so we'll mark that down. Right now, the pre-market activity has a beautiful, nice flow here. You can see just how it's trading very well, finding support on these moving averages and heading higher. So hopefully, it can head back up and test this 875 around the time of the open. Towards the top, we have another spike all the way up to 940, so mark that down as well. Now, towards the bottom, we need to find some stuff between the price action now and between the low of the pre-market. This is a nice, very big gap. In case we get kind of a fallen angel, we do want to have some levels in between here. So off the top, not off the top, but overall, I'm seeing a nice level here around 828. What is that? Yeah, 828, slightly below the price action, but you can see how you have a day testing that here and also going back, testing that support as well. So keep that on your list. And then on down here, just between these days, I'm just want to pick the best one possible. Yeah, right here. This is good. So 812 is another one, guys, as well. You can see some areas of support and resistance around that 812. And then you have your 768. If you lose at 768, you're probably not going to be in play towards the long side. If it loses, that might drop nicely. You have 733 is the most recent area of support that we have on this stock. So again, plenty of levels on this one here. It looks pretty wild at the moment, but if you zoom in, this candle messes things up here. Just zoom in, get that candle out of the way, and you can see how this thing is playing nicely with these levels that we have marked down. PSTV, guys, not a lot of volume on this one. Looks like it might want to lose it here. Might want to head back down. So again, just not great volume at the moment. That could be a good possible later on today in the morning. MU, guys, also again not doing much, not anything great. And Facebook, I'm gonna remove Facebook also. So let's see what we have here. Let's make this finalize this list. We have ADSK, which is good. Again, a bit choppy, some good volume. We needed to break out of these ranges and give us a nice move. TIF's looking very weak. Hopefully doesn't move. Hopefully doesn't sell off too much in the pre-market. We need some of this action for us at the open. We have another level here. It looks like it wants to test this 176.85. But hopefully doesn't run down too much. AMD is pretty flat. I might remove that one. Roku, I like, it's been very strong. You know it's going to get the volume. Just be patient. The open could be very wild, but it can go on a nice run after it settles down. Nvidia, I like the daily. I'm going to keep that one. LCI is very active in the pre-market. This is not a low flow, guys, but be very careful with your share size. It is a lower price stock, so mind your shares. Don't go crazy taking a huge size just because you have the buying power to do so. And MU also on the fence on MU here. It's all going to depend on how the volume comes in on MU and AMD and how they trade today if they pick a direction. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got to get rid of 1. You know, I'm just going to get rid of MU today. Yep, I'm going to get rid of MU. So that will be my 6 for this morning. All right, let's see what we have. What is everybody else watching? So we have Kurt. He is watching TIF, ADSK, and some possible continuation from yesterday, Momo and Plan, PLAN. So he'll have an eye on those in case we get some kind of continuation in that area. Our guy Eamon is watching Roku, LCI, and TIF, and on his secondary, he's keeping track of ADSK. So ADSK is one that's very active. I think we're all going to have that one on our list. Hopefully, can break out of these ranges. Thor is watching Roku, TIF, LCI, and Uber. Oh, that's a good one. Let's look at Uber. So Uber, what do we have here? Wow, Uber's been.
I think he's liking that for the daily more than anything else. It's got that.
Yeah, it's sitting right on this this support area, right? So, Thor, what do you like this one for? Short, or are you thinking possibly getting a bounce out of here? But yeah, daily looks interesting, man. Wow, Uber has been taking a nice little hit here the last couple of days. So yeah, so he's watching Uber. He's gonna keep an eye on that. Yep, he likes the daily, maybe a bounce, if not a solid short. I agree. When you have this area of support here, if you break from that, the people that are thinking are gonna bounce are gonna bail, and it could be a great short. Or if it holds and the sellers get exhausted here, people are trying to go short, it can definitely bounce. So nice daily on this one. It definitely does look interesting. All right, my man Norm is watching ADSK, LCI, TIF, Uber as well. Looks very good. And Nvidia possibly if we can get going there. But again, he doesn't have any favorites out of this one. And Peter, what are you watching? LCI as well, ADSK, Roku, TIF, and Uber. So we got several of our mods watching Uber this morning. All right, guys, so that is what we have. Let's take a look at BYND. BYND.
Beyond the meat.
Yes, I was waiting for you to say it. So right, we have a BYND. Wow, it's just been on a nasty consolidation. I mean, it is on a slight uptrend, but man, it's just been so nasty here. It just hasn't been really clean on the daily. But I expect BYND to just out of nowhere just pop to 220. It's one of those stocks that just on any given day, almost said any given Sunday, this thing could just take off and hit 210. You know, it's just that type of stock. It's just insane the way it trades. But yeah, keep an eye on this one, guys. If it can break out of this area here, possible resistance, possible support in the past, actually support in the past, it can actually trade very nice. It's kind of got like a slight wedge going here. Triangles setting up here, so if it can break out of that with some good volume, it could definitely take off. I just don't see that happening in the next couple of days, especially not this week with the type of markets we're in, where it's just so choppy. You're not getting that very clean volume. All right, guys, so that is what we have. Next, we have William is going to come on, and he's going to take us through the preparation for the Open. He's going to be trading live today with Norm. So thank you guys for joining us on YouTube. If you have not tried our channel, like Norm mentioned, definitely give it a shot. It's important that you find the chat room or a community that fits your style of trading. It's very important to have the network and connect with people. Trading is very tough, man. It is not easy. And having that a community you can speak to people in the forums, connect with, and exchange ideas is very important to day trading. So if you're not joining us, make sure you join somebody, because that is important. Find something that fits your style, and make sure you're able to network. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern time.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow morning. Trade safe.